Well, we've heard about Baker Mayfield, and now we're going to take a look at this. This is the Off the Leash T-shirt that Baker Mayfield, who he said his marketing people, came up with. The Off the Leash is a kind of a shot at Kevin Stefanski, not letting him do the things that he felt he was best at. Didn't want him to audible. So there's your Off the Leash Baker Mayfield T-shirt. All right, you get a chuckle now. Before we get to you, let's listen to Shannon Sharpe talking about the Browns and Panthers prediction for Week 1 that Shannon Sharpe has.
Emotions will get the best of them. That's what they always do. That's what he did when Hugh Jackson, he thought Hugh Jackson slighted him by not starting him and anointing him the number 2 quarterback. And when Hugh got fired, that's what he did. That's why he did what he did on the sideline. He's an emotional player. Emotions are good. Controlled emotions are better. And I don't believe Baker will have the emotions in check. I believe they take advantage of that. Baker's a front runner. And I can see him being very, very animated. He throws a touchdown or when they score a touchdown, but it's going to be short-lived. I believe the Browns are the better team. They're the deeper team. They're going to take the ball out of Jacoby Brissett's hand. They will not ask Jacoby Brissett to win this ball game. Chubb, Kareem Hunt, the defense will win this ball game. And so, no, I do not believe. That's why he's selling T-shirts. If he had his emotions in check, he wouldn't be selling T-shirts about him being off the leash. That tells me everything I need to know. That tells me where his head is. He still doesn't get it. He still doesn't get it.
And Quincy, I agree with Shannon Sharpe. Pretty much everything he said.
Yeah, I mean, remember when he was in Cleveland and he would do stuff like this and we go, oh my God, why? Right? Like, and then people would come out, oh no, he's just being himself. And it's just the same debate, right? It's the same debate because it's the same stuff he's been doing since 2018, right? And he can say, oh, well, it was my marketing department that did this. You finalized it, right? Like, you're Baker Mayfield of Baker Mayfield Enterprises. I'm sorry. If the shirt goes out and people have something to say about it, you can't throw your marketing people under the bus like you didn't say, yeah, that's good. They didn't send you a picture of the shirts. Actually, that was cool. You could have said, nah, let's just go with the Carolina blue one. Let's stay out the headlines. No, you wanted to make the off-the-leash shirts because you know exactly what your brand appeals to, which is, vengeful, bitterness, whatever it is, right? So, it's just Baker being Baker, and this is exactly why there was a lot of people in this city that are just done with it, right? Like, this is the exact stuff that made us go, oh, my God. Why? It's Kevin Stefanski. His whole motto is what? All bite, no bark. Baker Mayfield is the exact opposite of it. We wonder why these things did not coexist, right? Like, this is very obvious why it didn't coexist. He's going to do his thing. If they score a touchdown, he's going to be all Baker Mayfield about it. And if he has a bad game, who knows if he shows up to shake hands or comes to the press conference about it, right? We know that he is immature. We know that he doesn't handle these things well. We know that he is emotional to the point to where it affects his responsibilities of being a quote-unquote franchise quarterback, which is why people had hesitancy trading for him, given that he's still a very talented player. This is who he is. Better or worse. And everybody has said, hey, man, if he changes these things for the last 4 years, we said this in Cleveland, if he could just mature a little bit, if he changes these things, he can be a good quarterback. But he does stuff like this that makes you go, oh, yeah, man, he's the same guy. Not saying he's a bad person. I think people hear me say this and go, oh, well, you think he's a bad person because of the T-shirt. No, he's Baker Mayfield, but we just want him to stop doing the Baker Mayfield stuff at some point, because it gets exhausting. And this is just a reminder of like, oh, yeah, he's still the same guy. You know what I mean? Shannon's probably right on that read.
Yeah, and a starting quarterback, a franchise quarterback in the NFL should be above all that. They just should be operating above all that, and he doesn't.
Especially in his situation. Like, I think this... Like, what I worry about with him is, like, I don't think he understands the severity of his situation. I don't think he understands that he's not in a situation where the Carolina Panthers are committing to him as a franchise quarterback. He is in a situation where he is battling for his NFL future as a starter. And when you're doing all of that and you're still like, hey, let's push the revenge button instead of, hey, let's stay out the headlines as much as possible. So if I hit free agency, people don't feel like they have to worry about this kind of stuff with me. That's what tells me, like, that's what's immature about it. Not the fact that he's saying something against the Browns. I could care less. I get it. He wants to beat the Browns. He played for the Browns. He feels upset. He feels like he was done dirty. Cool. Like, there are other guys who do that without expressing themselves in t-shirts. This is about, like, man, if you're a GM, you see this off the leash Baker Mayfield shirt and you had hesitancy about trading for him for like a 4th round pick, and then he becomes available next offseason, you're gonna look back at that shirt and be like, I don't know, I feel like that's the same guy. I don't feel like he learned anything from this whole situation. And it's just a lack of awareness of his situation that he probably will continue to demonstrate, you know?